The Tale of Two Grasshoppers. Once upon a time, in a lush green meadow, lived two grasshoppers named Gus and Buzz. Though they were the best of friends, they couldn't be more different. Gus was always full of energy, hopping from one blade of grass to the next, spending his days singing, playing, and basking in the sun. Buzz, on the other hand, was a more serious sort. He worked hard, collecting food and storing it away for the colder months. One sunny afternoon, while Gus was lounging on a rock, he noticed Buzz working tirelessly, gathering grains and leaves. Amused, Gus hopped over and said, "Buzz, why do you work so hard? The sun is warm, the grass is plentiful, and there's no reason to worry. Come and relax with me." Buzz smiled but kept working. "The days may be warm now, Gus, but winter will soon be upon us. I'm preparing for the time when food is scarce." Gus chuckled, waving away Buzz's concerns. "You always worry too much. Winter is a long way off. I'll just enjoy myself for now." And so, Gus continued to play, hopping and singing from sunrise to sunset, while Buzz quietly worked, preparing for the future. As the days grew shorter and the warm breeze turned cold, the signs of winter began to creep in. The once green meadow started to wither, and the food that was once abundant became harder to find. Gus, now feeling the chill of the season, began to realize he hadn't stored anything for the cold months ahead. Hungry and cold, he hopped through the meadow in search of food but found nothing. Desperate, Gus finally came to Buzz's burrow, where he saw his friend comfortably nestled inside, surrounded by plenty of food. Gus knocked on the entrance. "Buzz, I was wrong," Gus said, shivering. "I didn't prepare for winter and now I have nothing to eat. Can you help me?" Buzz looked at Gus with compassion. "I tried to warn you, my friend, but you were too focused on the moment to think about the future." He paused, then opened the door wider. "But friends are meant to help each other. Come inside and we'll share what I've gathered." Gus gratefully entered the warm burrow. As they shared a meal, Gus made a promise to himself. Next year he would balance his fun with preparation, learning from his friend's wise example. Chapter 2. What Happens Next? Winter pressed on, and Gus spent the cold months in Buzz's burrow, sheltered and fed. The harsh winds blew outside and the snow blanketed the meadow, but inside, the two grasshoppers were safe. Buzz shared his food with Gus, never complaining but occasionally reminding him of the lesson he had learned. One stormy night, as they sat together by the fire, Buzz said, "You know, Gus, it's not just about gathering food. It's about balance. I've always admired how you enjoy life and make the most of every moment. I sometimes forget to do that myself. Maybe I work too hard sometimes." Gus nodded thoughtfully. "And I've always admired your discipline and wisdom, Buzz. You see things clearly and prepare for what's to come. I realize that I can't always live in the moment without thinking of the future." As winter dragged on, the two grasshoppers began to learn from each other. Buzz, inspired by Gus's carefree spirit, started to relax a bit more. They would sing songs together and even play small games indoors when the food situation allowed. Gus, on the other hand, spent time helping Buzz manage the food supply, carefully rationing what they had. When spring finally arrived, the snow melted and the meadow bloomed once more with fresh grass, flowers, and warmth. Gus and Buzz emerged from the burrow, stretching their legs and breathing in the sweet air of the new season. This time, things felt different for both of them. Gus hopped over to Buzz, a serious look in his eyes. "This year, I'm going to do things differently. I'll still enjoy the sun and sing, but I'm also going to prepare for winter, just like you." Buzz smiled, pleased. "And I'll make sure to join you for a few songs and games along the way. After all, life's too short to miss out on fun." Throughout the spring and summer, Gus and Buzz worked side by side. Gus still sang and played, but he also made sure to gather food regularly, storing away grains and leaves for the winter. Buzz, true to his promise, would pause his work every now and then to join Gus in enjoying the sunshine, relaxing and appreciating the present moment. When the next winter came, both grasshoppers were ready. Their burrows were filled with food, and they had enough to last the entire season. They passed the cold months happily, not just because they were prepared, but because they had learned to balance work and play, seriousness and joy. As the years went by, Gus and Buzz's friendship only grew stronger. The other animals in the meadow would often watch the two grasshoppers, one known for his joyful songs and the other for his wisdom, and admired how they had learned from each other's strengths. They were an example to everyone. Gus showed the value of living in the moment, while Buzz reminded them of the importance of preparing for the future.